Hey, this is Derek David. Welcome to Rockin' and Squawkin' Canada. Hey, this is Derek David. Welcome back to Rockin' and Squawkin' Canada. Once again, thank you to everybody who's listening, downloading, sharing. I really do appreciate the support, and there's lots of shows ahead still, so thank you. Today, I have another very special guest on the line with me from Yakima, Washington, and she is an accomplished vocalist, songwriter, and producer. I'd like to welcome Rondi Marsh. Hello.
Hi. Nice and cold out here, starting to Yakima.
Yeah, we have kind of similar weathers, I guess, also over on the east, because Toronto's very chilly. It's almost like January today, so it's a good day to be inside for sure.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about the album. The title of the album that you have out now is called The Pink Room, and the single on that is the bass song. Can you talk about that a little bit right now?
Sure. The Pink Room is an album I released a year ago, November 10th, and I recorded with three of the members of Pearl Django, which is a very popular, successful gypsy jazz group out of Seattle. And then I handpicked some other musicians as well to add more of a big band sound with some horns. And I had some drums on several of the tracks. So, I produced the album myself. I sang on it. I helped with the arrangements. Just a real hands-on approach is what I did with this album. And I'm a member of the Recording Academy, and I'm a voting member. So over the last couple of years, I've released the singles off the album, like Black Denim Trousers and Motorcycle Boots, which is a cover song that the Cheers did many years ago, went to number 3. And that was kind of the song that spurred the rest of the direction of the album, because I have a pretty eclectic musical background. I've not always done gypsy jazz. You know, I come from a rock background and folk music and classical music and even a little bit of country music. So mostly I'm a songwriter, but on this album, it's all covers from the traditional pop era, except for one song that's my own called Walk On Over. For this ballot, I'm on the initial ballot for the album in traditional pop, and my single, the bass song, is in consideration for best arrangement for vocals, instrumental arrangement.
That's great, and I wish you all the best on that, and I can't wait to hear when that time comes. I'm sure you will be in the winner's circle when that time comes. It's a great song.
Thank you.
I want to listen to more of the album when I have a few minutes. I have everybody sending me their music and samples, so I've become quite busy all of a sudden. So every chance I get, I try to go back and listen to as much of an album as I can. So that's big news for you. And you did release a couple of albums prior to this one under a what was it, a traditional rock or pop rock?
Yeah, this Pink Room album is actually my 4th full album. My first album was called Cash, and I did it under a pseudonym of Kitty Dakota, actually, because I was doing mostly country folk rock music back then. And, it's funny, you never think that you're going to morph into something else, but as an artist, you do. And so that name didn't really seem to fit for the jazz direction that I went. But then my second album is called Thorny Bouquet, and that's also all original music that's, I would call, folk, pop, rock, And then my third album went more in a jazz direction. I used several jazz players out of the Seattle area, and those are all originals except for two songs. I covered Moon Dance and the old hit Spooky on that album.
Okay. As an artist, though, I mean, being creative means you're always looking to expand and down other avenues. So it's trying to restrict yourself to one sound or one style. I mean, you need to be able to express yourself more. So it's good that you're trying different areas of music right now.
Yeah, I think as an artist, you just have to follow what inspires you. Otherwise, it's if you try to control what you do, it really people can tell that you are not being sincere in what you're doing. And the whole reason I do this really is for selfish reasons. It's for self, gratification. So
sometimes there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, this album, was I was down at a winery. I live in wine and hop country. We grow like 75% of the world's hops here, and we have many great vineyards and wineries here. So I would go and I would do this jam session, and this one friend of mine would always play this Black Denim Trousers song on his guitar, but he did it more in a Western swing style. And so this whole album was serendipitous. It went from that to bumping into David Lang over on in this greater Seattle area, who is the accordion player for Pearl Django. And some of their music kind of had that syncopated sound to it, and I just went, aha, that would be really fun. And then I just went off on finding all these songs that I just love the lyrics and the melody, because that's what I have a real passion for, is lyrics and melody.
It's a great arrangement on the bass song. I do want to hear more. I'm just wondering, in the future now, once the award shows are done and the Grammys, do you have any plans to showcase more of the album, or any club dates or tour dates, anything like that coming up?
Well, it's I've kind of, for this year, because I wanted to really focus on radio promotion for the album, and because I spent so many years and so much time producing this album, I wanted to focus on the launch of it, and not keep myself as busy as a jazz singer out performing with groups and stuff. So I have pulled away from performing this last year. I did a big CD release at a nice concert hall we have here in Yakima called The Seasons, and that was real successful and real fun. But the only thing I have coming up that I have planned right now, and I don't know if I can let the cat out of the bag here or not, but I think I can, is
I won't tell.
Yeah. Down at the Grammys this year, Saturday night, there's going to be what's called the soiree, and I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing Black Denim Trousers and Motorcycle Boots with the Wands. And for those who don't know who Wands is, he's the one who was the cameo singer on the huge album a few years back with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis called Thrift Shop. Okay. Yeah, and so he and I are going to do a duet and perform down there during Grammy week. And so that's the only performance I have scheduled right now coming up.
That's definitely a big deal. So I'm hoping I can catch that.
Either all of my heroes have played the Roxy, so that's going to be a real bucket list thing for me. Yeah.
So I was reading over your bio. It's an impressive resume. Your whole life is music now, and you're also a music educator.
Yeah, that's what I mostly do. I've been teaching over 30 years. And right now I teach beginning string orchestra. I teach choir. I'm mostly a vocalist, so that's really my strength. And I'm teaching some elementary classes, and I'm in charge of inventory for all the orchestra instruments for the district. And I teach another music appreciation class. So I'm kind of all over the map educationally right now, but I just have always said I need to be two people. I love teaching and I love performing. I just never lost my passion for both. So makes it a little hard to make a lot of headway when you stretch yourself that thin. But still, I've enjoyed everything about what I've been doing. So yeah, and then I've been doing a lot of writing this year. That's mostly what I've needed to do. I've needed some time to get real quiet and do some writing because a little over a year ago I lost my son, and so it's been a very difficult journey for me personally this last year, and I just needed some time to. I find that is the best way for me to get through difficult times is to write music.
Absolutely. Music has a way of definitely healing the soul when it's needed, and I am very sorry to hear about your loss. If you had to pick a particular artist who was an influence on you, is there one vocalist or one band that you would say, yes, that's definitely my biggest influence?
Well, it depends on what stage of life you're talking about.
Okay.
It sounds a little weird, but Chaka Khan is who really, I think, inspired me to want to go in the direction of singing. Because prior to that, I was a dancer and I had a desire to be a professional dancer when I was young. So, I loved Joni Mitchell. I loved a lot of different people. But when people said I sounded like Joni Mitchell with my guitar, I knew early on I wanted to sound unique. And so I was a little afraid of listening to that artist so much that I would, be nothing but a copy, cover artist. And so I actually went kind of a different direction, and I studied Aretha Franklin and Chaka Khan and big voices. And I just loved Linda Ronstadt and Bonnie Raitt. Ann Wilson was a huge influence on me as a young person in my teens. And even kind of off-the-wall artists like Nina Haugen, who's a punk rock opera, so I'm all over the map with who I like.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't limit myself to listening to one style. Over the last few years, I've been listening to more and more different styles, and it's good because it gives you a little bit from each genre. So, and you can take that with you as well. So, for anybody who is interested, and I'm going to post up your album and song again on my page. But anybody that wants to go check out your music more, where can they find it?
Oh, pretty much anywhere. You can download it on iTunes. I ended up giving up and putting it on Spotify. And I think because I'm on CD Baby, it kind of generates to all the different online stores that you can go. So Amazon and so forth. But most people go to iTunes and Spotify.
Spotify is definitely a big one now. A lot of artists I've talked to, they've turned to Spotify or CD Baby, so they're all good platforms. There's more choices now for people. So as an artist, your material can now be heard around the world, and I think it's more access now for fans, so it's good. So I just wanted to say thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. I know we're on a little bit of a time difference, and I do very much want to have you back on the show maybe in about a year from now, because I want to see where the album is at, and especially after the Grammys, and how well you've done there. And that would be great to talk to you again in the future and have you back on. So, and I will ask you just to hang on for one extra minute when I stop the show. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Okay, so please go check out Rondi's music. I will post more updates on Rockin' and Squawkin' Canada and my personal page. And she has all the platforms to download the album, The Pink Room. So please go check it out. It's well worth it, and it sounds great. So thank you.
Thanks for your support, Derek. Really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you as well. So until the next show, everybody, take care. Okay? Thank you.